afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started here. My name is Ladarius Curtis. I'm the Senior Director of Community Engagement and Health for Westside United. I want to welcome all of you to the Westside United Small Business Grant Information Session with the AAA BNA. Before we kind of dig into the weeds of the session, we're going to provide you a little bit more information about Westside United and some other opportunities that are out there. But what I wanted to do is go ahead and tee up and kick it off to our wonderful host, Malcolm Crawford. Go right ahead, Malcolm. Thanks.
Hello, Brother Ladarius. How are you this fine day?
I am well. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
But I'll see you on Saturday.
Yes, we have the Austin Power 5K, which we will definitely put in the chat very soon. We want to thank everybody for coming out and thank, you guys. This has been a long relationship with Westside United and our organization, which is Austin's African American Business Networking Association. We are an association of business owners over on the West Side, and we kind of continue to morph and do more. We started off as just simply networking. Networking then went to advocacy, and advocacy has gone on to corridor development. And so now we are working to create a Soul City corridor. So as the city of Chicago has Greektown, Chinatown, Boys Town, Little Italy, and all of those cultural enclaves that make up the city of Chicago, we have been working with the city of Chicago to create Soul City, which is a stretch of Chicago Avenue, which goes from Austin to Cicero, that is being developed as the Soul City corridor. $23 million in streetscape going in on the corridor, new construction coming in, just a lot of good stuff. And that's all being done under Invest Southwest, of which we are the corridor managers for Chicago Avenue. And so it's a lot going on. It's good to finally have a representation at the table that looks like us, because a lot of times when things were going on, it was everybody at the table except us. And those of us who were at the table didn't want to say that they were one of us. And so people wanted to be everything in their language but Black. And so we wanted to make sure that there was a name that represented us, the African American Business Networking Association, and we can speak the needs of our people as it relates to development in the city of Chicago. And so we're glad to be able to do that. We're glad about the partnership that we have with Westside United. We were able to talk about, bring them the conversation that it's okay to talk about the nonprofit sector. It's okay to talk about the religious sector, but there is another sector, business sector, that needs to be addressed. And so through our advocacy and through our fights and telling people that it's okay to infuse capital into businesses. That's what we lack the most in our community. And a lot of us, if we would just have that small amount of capital that we need to go to the next level, we could do more. And so it is a blessing that there are those who heard the cry and decided to put this fund together. And I was so pleased that when Westside United brought this conversation to us, they weren't just giving you a big paper check and taking pictures with everybody. But when we did it in person, people were actually able to walk over and pick up a check that did keep a lot of people in business. 6, 9, 7, 8. I can go down a list of a lot of the businesses that are associated with AAA BNA that were able to receive this capital infusion that made their businesses go just that much further. And so I can talk all day. Anybody who know me knows that I can, but I know you guys aren't here to hear me. I know that. You guys are here to find out about this funding. And so if anybody, just check out, I'm gonna put my information in the chat, and just check us out. We're all stronger together. And so as we continue to move forward with development in the city of Chicago, our voices are stronger when we're together. So I'll put my information in the chat. And I'm glad to see a few, well, I see quite a few AAA BNA members on this call. And so thank you guys for participating. And I'll turn it back to you, Ladarius.
Sounds great. So before we begin about the grant, I'm just going to tell you a little bit of more information about Westside United for those who don't know. Westside United has been around for give or take about 5 years. We are a conglomerate of 6 hospitals that work on the West Side with the task or mission aim to really build the wealth and equity for people on the West Side. We came across this map here. This is from Robert Wood Johnson. Our mission is to reduce the life expectancy gap between the Loop and the West Side by 50% by the year 2030. So if you look at the map, you'll see that a person that's born in the Loop, or if you say Streeterville, their life expectancy is 82 years. But if you go the 6 or 7 stops down the blue line, you'll see that in West Garfield Park, that same child, if they were born in West Garfield Park, their life expectancy would be 68 years. So obviously you can see the 14-year gap in disparity there. So we are looking, and our mission is to increase the life expectancy of folks on the West Side. The way we do that through our piece in education is through our 4 pillars, which is education, health and healthcare, physical and neighborhood environment, and also impact investing. So our impact investing is obviously what we're here to talk to you guys about more. If you guys want to learn more about our other sectors and everything that we're doing at Westside United, I will definitely put my email in the chat as well. But I don't want to hold up anyone else about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and why you guys are here, which is to find out more about the small business grant opportunity that, with the help of JP Morgan Chase and others, that we've been able to expand each and every year that we've had it. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Levi, I believe, who is going to start discussing the small business grant opportunities.
Thanks, Ladarius. Just a little context. My name is Levi Moore, and I'm a member of Westside United's Community Advisory Council. And if you're working with WSU, we have a number of committees. Now, I have a couple of connections to the West Side. I work for the Hector Institute of Medicine in the Illinois Medical District, but I'm also the chairman emeritus of CAN TV. And I just wanted to mention that this event is being broadcast live on CAN TV. And if you miss something during this presentation, or you want to let someone else know about it, it will be re-aired numerous times on CAN TV. So with that, I'm on the small business grant work group, and I've been on probably about close to 3 years. And our role is to kind of help design or curate the grant program. And we look at, what's worked, what didn't work in the past. We try to make every year there's a better experience to try to figure out, what to target. And even more importantly, we're people that help judge who gets the grants. And I just want to say, in a larger context, when something tragic happens, the West Side of Chicago or East Peoria or my hometown in East St. Louis, the conversation always goes back to lack of investment in the community. Fortunately, the West Side of Chicago, West Side United exists. And the approach is really, I just want to say, really unique in that, in addition to addressing healthcare issues directly, Westside United also makes investments in small businesses and budding entrepreneurs. So in terms of what Westside United has done, it's really impressive. Since 2018, there's been $1 million that's been invested in 70 businesses on the West Side of Chicago. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that those grants are supported by JP Morgan Chase, Rush University Medical Center, the Ann and Robert Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago, Northern Trust, the Thorley Foundation, Wintrust, Molson Coors, and Tito's Vodka. So as you can see, uh, we've done a lot in the past, and we're continuing it with this new latest grant opportunity. We hope to get $450,000 to 45 existing small business or the budding entrepreneurs in the West Side of Chicago. So with that, those are my remarks, and I think you want to get to the most important part to learn more about this grant opportunity. Thank you.
She need to talk to you.
Thanks, Levi. So Brad will be walking through the application, is just joining. He should be here in just a second.
While we wait for Brad, I just wanted to know, is there anyone, and you can kind of put your hands on the chat, who heard about this application process before, who's either going after this application or going after these dollars for a second time, or if there's someone that's totally new that knows nothing really about Westside United who might have a question or wanted to speak on that. So Helen, go ahead. You have a question?
Yes, sir. I'm new, and this is my first time hearing about you guys. I have a friend. She sent me your information. I'm in a startup phase with my business. So thank you. Great.
Thank you so much. Tina, I'd love, since you received it last year, can you tell any of these folks about the process?
Yes, I'm a recipient of the 2020 funding cycle, and the application process is very easy. It's a one-page application. You will have to tell a little bit about your company and also list what your intent is for the grant application. Another thing is, I believe it asks for your tax return. Isn't that right? It asks for your tax return. So you must have your taxes done from the previous year. Can I share a report?
Sure.
The praise report. So we use some of the funding for the minority business certification with the city of Chicago. And I am proud to say that Elevate Services, a marketing and communications company, now is a WMBE and MBE certified.
Congratulations. Wonderful. Dolores has her hand up.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm Dolores Castañeda from Little Village. My question is about the application is going to be in Spanish for Spanish speaking. And my other question is about documentation is important.
Yes, to answer your first question, Dolores, actually, we will be having another round of the application process in October, and that's going to be more for a Spanish-speaking audience. So that's the plan, to have that in a couple of weeks. Now, your question about the documentation, can you kind of shed some light on that?
I mean, like people need to have social security card for that.
Oh, okay. That's a Brad question. When Brad jumps on and goes through the documentation, we can probably go through and see if that's a question that he can answer. I just honestly can't recall. But I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I just can't. I haven't done this application process in a couple of years, so it's been a minute.
I have a question. This is
Sure.
I'm wondering if this is only open to people who have the documentation that they're a business, like a formal, whatever it would be, like, can it be a 501c3, or can it be somebody who has like a micro business, like a street vendor kind of person who has, I'm wondering like what is classified as a business?
I believe that you have to have your information set up as a business with the state. So as long as you're registered as a business with the state, then you should be okay. I mean, we're not doing, unfortunately, this year we are not doing 501c3s. We did pose that last year. I think what our situation is that we really wanted to get as many people and many small businesses, startup, middle of the range businesses, or businesses that are looking to expand, give them more of an opportunity. So I think that's why we leaned this way this time. But we've normally had grant dollars or dollars in the past, and we'll have some in the present and the future for 501c3s.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then what about somebody who's thinking about starting a business and this fund can help them start up their whatever activities? Is it an opportunity for them too, or is it somebody who already has their activities going?
No, this is an opportunity for startups as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And nice to see you, by the way.
Nice to see you too.
Eric, I see you with your hand raised. I got you. Go ahead.
I apologize. I couldn't figure out how to use the remote pen thing.
Don't worry about it.
My question is, I just started the business and I think it was last year, but I didn't file. And I got to make sure that I filed last year or this year. I believe it's this year, but I have to go back. But if I didn't do the tax thing, how soon does the application has to be in to have that done?
Well, I think the applications are due the end
Now,
of
October.
So
Okay.
that gives you probably about 6 weeks or so to kind of to make that happen.
I'll be able to get it done. And also, how many applications can you submit?
One.
Okay. I'm just curious because I have three. I really have 4 businesses, but I have three. I have 3 that I'm working. One is established, and the other 2 I'm formatting them now, putting them together. So that's why I was asking how many can you submit.
I got you.
I just choose one. One is a bakery. One of them is I'm building a new app. Okay. And I also have a transportation company.
God, okay.
And then I was trying later. This is down the line. I'm not trying to hold up the group, but I'm also trying to put together a indoor water park.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
so
let's talk about that. I'm a fan of indoor water parks.
Okay.
So now our speaker has arrived. Brad is here. He's under the Eve Shapiro name, but Brad is here to kind of walk us through the application. Go ahead and take it away, Brad.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not Eve Shapiro. I'm Brad McConnell with Allies for Community Business. I'm using her login because mine didn't work. The joys of being on Zoom, but you're all familiar with that already, I'm quite certain. I'm going to share my screen in order to briefly walk through the basics of the application. I hope that most of this is new and not repetitive from what you've already discussed before, so I'm going to go very quickly and would love to just get to as many questions as we can as possible. So again, I'm with Allies for Community Business. And I'm going to make sure that my screen share works. Yeah. So Allies for Community Business is a nonprofit based on the West Side in East Garfield Park at the Hatchery. And our vision is that any entrepreneur can start and grow businesses. Our mission to help then is to provide the capital and the coaching and the collaborations that you need to grow great businesses. We do loans and grants. Our loans are between $500 and $100,000. But in this case, we're talking about grants. So 5 elements that we'll talk about here very briefly, a few of which I think you'll have already covered and many of which you won't. So I'm going to go through these items quickly, and then again, we'll get to the rest of your questions. The funding, again, $10,000 per grant for 45 grants. All 10 of the West Side community areas are eligible, and you know what those are, of course. There's a prioritization of hospital serving industries. There's a long list here, which again, we can come back to in the Q&A if you'd like, but know that we're also prioritizing community serving retail. Both of those categories will be the types of businesses which we'll seek to provide the funds to, those 45 businesses. So Let's talk about the items then that you need to provide, which is the meat of the discussion. There's really 5 groups of information that you'll be providing. Background on your business, background on you as the business owner, some data points on your business financials, a couple questions just in free-form text about the opportunities and challenges that you see for your business, and then attestations. So I'm just going to link to the application in just a moment, but before I do that, just want to highlight the documents that you'll need to upload in order to make sure that we can review your application against all the other applicants and deem that you are in fact qualified. So we're going to be looking for a business bank statement from the second quarter of 2021. This is just to make sure that you're a legitimate business and still operating. And also your 2020 federal tax return, all pages, to make sure that we can identify that you as the applicant are in fact a business, your location is as you have put on your application. That's our way to verify that, that everything you said in the application is accurate. So either if you have a business tax return, give us that. Or if you instead did an individual 1040 tax return, you signed that one, then send us that along with your Schedule C, which is where your business expenses will be itemized. So we'll also then ask you for just the W-9 tax form with just your name as signature and the date, because that we need to report to the IRS for anybody that we give a grant to. So those are the basics. I'm going to just briefly then show you the application itself. So I'm going to just go through this very briefly and make sure that you can see that. So can somebody give me a shout and say, yep, I can see something that says Westside United Grant 2021 application?
It's still showing the
No.
slide.
Hold, please.
Can't see.
No problem. How's that?
Yep.
Yep.
All
we can
right.
see it.
Okay, so this is the application. Again, the 5 sections are your business background, where you show, are you in fact a for-profit business operating on the West Side? If the answer to that one is no, then this is I think the wrong program. I wouldn't want you to waste your time on the application. Your business name, your address, and then your location type. It's going to be one of these 4 options, whether you're storefront, home-based, mobile, or in an industrial area. We'll then ask for your business ID number. So you'll either have an employee identification number that's used on your tax return if it's a business tax return, or you'll have your social security number or an ITIN if you're filing an individual rather than a business return. So give us that number in here. We're going to ask a couple of questions, which are just based on drop down to give us a sense for how large your business is and how long you've been in operation. So for revenue, we'll ask for how long has your business been making revenue. We're certainly happy to have startups, but we want to know if you've been in business for a long time. And then in what industry have you been operating? And this is just a selection of the usual types of business categorizations that would ask you to pick yours from. Then we ask about those prioritized categories that I showed before. So these are the places where we're trying to find as many businesses who we can help to build those businesses, because they're the areas in which the hospitals would like to build relationships in more detail with businesses to provide services to the hospitals. We're asking you to pick, if any of these, or if not, none of the above. And then just specify yes or no, whether you are interested in looking into being able to provide goods and services, be able to sell to the Westside United hospitals. We then ask about you as a business owner, just the basics here, your name, your home zip, we don't need your home address, but just your home zip. Some demographic information. These are all going to be optional because you can always say prefer not to respond in all of these, but we're trying to make sure that we're doing the best we can to have a highly diverse population that we're serving. And then your business financials. How many employees does your business have, including you, your business revenue? We're just looking for where you fall within broad buckets of your business revenue in 2020. Your business income. And then we're interested to find out if you have other grants that you've received in the past, so you can highlight which of these you may have received. None of that is going to be directly determinative as to whether or not you're able to get a grant. It's not part of the eligibility criteria, but it does help us to make sure that we have a diverse population of businesses in all respects that we're having. And then here's where you upload the documents that I mentioned before, of which there are 3. If you need a W-9 form, just click on that link right there. It'll take you to the IRS site. You can just print it right from there and then sign it and upload it. But you can just click here to get your files and then pick from your files wherever your business bank statement is and your signed tax return. Nearing the end then, a few questions, as I mentioned, about business opportunities and challenges. Just 150 words or less, so you can keep these very brief. What's the goal of your business? How does your business strengthen the community? And what's your connection to the West Side, and how will you use the funds if you receive them, that $10,000? To wrap it all up, you just make the attestations that West Side United requires. Everything's accurate, you're on a for-profit business, and so forth. And then at the end, once you're done, you can hit submit. And if you want a copy of all of the responses you provide, just click that button right there and you'll receive an emailed copy of the submission that you provide. So that's the application. I'm going to close that, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't started the bank account for the business, so I just wanted to, point that out. I need to just go and submit the IN number and get the bank account started.
Yes.
It'll be fairly new.
Fair enough. I'm happy to look at the hands that are up and pick those. But again, Eve or anybody else, if you'd like to do this a different way, feel free.
Hi, I have a quick question, and I'll put it in the chat box. But what if we're a new business? We just opened this year in May of 2021. And we obviously don't have any tax documents from last year. Do we have to wait until next year to apply, or can we still apply?
So West Side United's been clear that startups are welcome. And so what we'll need you to do then is to clarify for us in those boxes that you saw where you have 150 words or less to describe your business, your connection to the West Side, that you are new. And we will want then for you to at least show that you've got your business bank statement, your business account already open, as Erica suggested, so that we know that there's a business that is at least starting. And that is the document then you should upload for us.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Dolores Castañeda. I had a question. We need to have business account to apply.
Yes, so the place where you put the business revenue and the business expenses within a bank account, that's what we'd like to see. We use that as our way to substantiate that the business owner and the business address is legit, because the business bank account will be one of the ways that you'll have already gone through a process, in this case with whoever you decide to use for deposits. The tax return is another way for us to make that verification. So we ask for both. If you don't have both, or you don't have one or the other, then I'd suggest that you just upload what you do have, and we'll evaluate what we see in front of us once the application window closes and we're into the evaluation period.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I have a question. Hello?
Go ahead. Please.
My question is, if my business, okay, I'm a home base. I have a home base location for the administrative office, but I am a catering service, and I cater to the West Side. I cater all over, but I have a high clientele on the West Side, and right now I don't have my brick and mortar just yet. Can I still apply for this?
I think in that box where we establish, we ask you to establish what your connection is to the West Side, that's where I would explain that. And so we'll look for that text as the primary way to evaluate your application. Otherwise, place into those address boxes that you saw in the top of the application for both your business and for you as the business owner, the addresses that are most relevant for you. See two other hands. How about Helen?
Okay, thank you. My question was similar to the other ones about the bank statement and the startup and the location. So you mostly answered that for me already.
Got it.
Thank you.
Sure thing. And Mary Brown Walker?
Good afternoon. My question is, of course, we're also a new business in the community, but was started in 2019. But due to COVID-19 had a substantial setback in terms of starting. But I think my question is, will this grant be also available to use toward operating costs? And okay, and you had mentioned earlier that the priority will be given to hospitals. My business is Greenback Health Solutions, which provides nurse practitioner healthcare services to the community, primarily located in the Austin community. Our work is centered around substance use disorder, so providing primary care for chronic disease patients, as well as managing their chronic disease of opiate addiction and so forth.
Yeah, and to be clear, the priority recipients are not hospitals. The hospitals are the ones that are providing the funding. The priority categories are for those businesses who are interested in and capable of working with the hospitals in order to serve West Side constituents. So it sounds like your business is certainly one of those. And so just make sure that you clarify that on your application.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Brad, I have a few questions. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Good. I wanted to know if you can place the link for the application within the chat. And then the second part of the question is, this particular grant, is it competitive or is it lottery pool for small businesses?
Yeah, good question. So two things I want to make sure I pick up on something that Mary had asked before too that I forgot to address. So for the use of the funds, it's really flexible. You can use it for operating costs, working capital, and the things that you just need to run your business, unlike some other programs you might have been applying for, say, last year or earlier this year, which might have been much more specific about how those funds can be used. So apologize, Mary, for not answering that until now. So for your question, I will in a second, just put the link to the Westside United landing page into the chat, which has in it both the link to the application, and there are two different links, one in English and one in Spanish. There are also links to our help desk. So in English or Spanish, your choice, you can just select that link, type in your question, and we'll have a 1 business day turnaround to make sure that you get all of your questions answered. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Eve. So we've just put that link into the chat. There you go. So use that, please, in order to find the application. Forgive me, you had 2 questions and I've forgotten the second one already.
Yeah, it's okay. The second part, I was asking if this grant is competitive or if it's
of course. Yes, thank you for that question. The answer is yes. So it is competitive in a way that is about the consortium of Westside United trying to figure out how best to provide this fixed amount of funds to ways that'll be most helpful throughout the West Side and our 10 communities. So although the applications are going to be taken all at once and then evaluated after that, so that it doesn't make any difference whether you apply on the first day or something closer to the last day. And in that way, like, there's no sort of race, there's no lottery associated with that. We do want, I think, to make sure that we're doing the best we can in evaluating all the applications to distribute the grant dollars across the West Side rather than have it be accidentally sort of via lottery, all dedicated to, say, one of the 10 community areas. We also want to have a pretty good distribution across different types of industries, different sizes of businesses, so they're not all startups, they're not all, sort of 30 years in business. So all of those kinds of characteristics will be taken into account in trying to figure out how best to distribute the 45 grants. So consider to be competitive for sure, but really in a way that is meant to be as equitable as possible across the entirety of the West Side.
Okay, thank you for elaborating. And the last part is, will consideration be given to those small businesses who applied last year but were not awarded?
Absolutely. So we certainly would encourage you to apply again. We will go back and look at that list from last year and make sure that we mark those that have applied in the past unsuccessfully, and see that we're applying again. What weight that will have, I'm not sure, if I'm just being transparent about it, but it'll certainly be something that we will identify so that it's part of the discussions. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? So I'm going to send it back to Eve and to Ladarius. Again, apologies for my tech interrupted delay from being here, but I'm happy to help. And you can always, through that link, go to our help desk at Always for Community Business to help, or you can also use, and I will put this into the chat too, our help email address if that's easier for you.
I have one more question.
You accidentally put yourself back on mute. All right, Ladarius, I'll kick it back over to you for now in case anybody else has any questions.
Great. Thanks, Brad. Just wanted to follow up, making sure that everyone got their questions answered. For now, obviously, you can circle back with any of us with any additional questions that you may have along with the grant. So I just wanted to ask anyone else for final questions.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. What's the deadline for the application?
I can help with that one. So if you are using that landing page that Eve hopefully put the link into, so October 31st is the date by which you need to go to that landing page, click on the apply here button, and then fill out the application. And the intent is to have the grants announced and the dollars distributed by year end.
And I see Mrs. Cervantes came back, so I was going to give her an opportunity to ask her question.
Yes, sorry about that. So I wanted to ask, if our business is selected, is there any reports that we have to give? Because I mean, obviously the idea is that we're trying to impact the community, right? So is there any report that we have to give out to you, pictures or anything, saying that this is what we did with the money, or any financial documents that we have to report? And then if that's the case, what's the time frame?
That's a really good question. Yeah, thank you for asking that. So as you go through the application, you'll see very clearly where there are reporting requirements. They're light, but they're real. And so twice a year through the end of 2023. So I guess in effect, you're talking about you'll have 2 of these reports due. We'll ask you for revenue and for the number of employees. And so it's, I think, really our intent to see the difference between the baseline numbers, which you put in your application in 2021, looking ahead for 2022 and 2023. So I guess those 2 calendar years, twice a year. We just want to see how the funds have been hopefully helpful in how you've grown both your earnings and also the number of people you've been able to employ. And at the end of 2023, we'll ask for just a short description for how you've used the funds and just a short update on how your business is doing, so that we can then celebrate the successes you've had in your business, or alternatively offer additional assistance if we think that that's something that'd be useful for you. So just look through those attestations in what you're committing to do as you're going through the application. There's more detail in there. It's a very good question.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And I think Ms. Slaughter, you have your hand up again?
Yes, sir. I didn't catch the due date.
October 31st.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right. I just want to thank everybody again for joining us today. Thanks, Malcolm, Levi, Eve, and Brad, just for hopping on and kind of explaining the process. Oh, Mary, do you have another question, or are your hands just up from the last questions?
No, actually, I do. You said
Okay.
So the deadline is October 31st, right? Are you accepting applications now? We can submit now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. And I think Ms. Slaughter's hand is just up from the last question. Okay. Well, all right. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. Once again, if you have any questions, you've gotten our information from the chat. And I hope you get a chance to fill out our application, and best of luck to you all.
Thank you. Have a great week.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a great week.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.